so much for joining me on my channel today. And today I have a flip through video of my Tempted finished project for the month of March 2024. And I am going to show you how I worked through Tempted and kind of give you an insight on why I picked this method. So Tempted was the By the Well for God devotional, which was super good. And if you are interested in what it had to do with, we do have this hashtag ByTheWell4God _tempted, the BTW4G _tempted, that you can go back and look on social media, Facebook or Instagram with that hashtag, and you can see the different types of projects and pages that were made with this kit. I'll also link below this kit. If I know it sold out at some point, but if I see that anything is still available, I'll link it below for you. So I knew that I would be traveling in March. I had some ministry, different events that I had to attend. I was also going to be out of the country. And so because of all of that, I wanted to do something that was easy, but that I can creatively express what I was going to be studying in the Tempted devotional. So as you guys know, I do my traveler's notebook where I take that with me and I do my notes in there. And this is just my creative expression, you know, the Bible journaling, the art part, if you will, of the heart part that I do in my traveler's notebook. So this month I decided I was going to do a mini album. And in this mini album, I would record the days that stuck out to me the most. Now, you can 100% do this in a way where you have recorded all 14 days. And I have done those type of ring binders as well, or ring albums as well. And since we're on that topic, if you want me to do a flip through of my, or kind of a comparison video of all of my ring albums that I've done for By the Well for God, let me know, because I have done a couple and I can kind of do a comparison video of different ways you can Bible journal that way. But for this one, I just did a mini one where I was going to be recording some of those days that I really loved in the Tempted devotional. So here we have in the entry, first of all, this is a book ring that has 3 different rings and it's sort of already attached. You guys, these are really popular in the planner world, so you guys probably saw them there. And so I decided to use this one. I love the rose gold. I had this in my stash already, so it was super easy. You can also do just regular book rings. You can buy these at the Dollar Tree. The regular book rings, I mean, you can buy them at Dollar Tree. You can get a big pack on Amazon. I have purchased from both Amazon and the Dollar Tree. And that way you have them in your stash for when you want to create this sort of project. In the front here, I have basically built this mostly from the pattern paper in the kit. Bear with me. The kit came with some beautiful pattern paper, and then in the front here, I'm using one of the journaling cards that came, and you can just, I placed that here in the front. So in the back, I'm actually using this pattern paper, and what I did was I just cut all my pattern paper in half, and then I was using them to create this little booklet. So I decided half of the 6x8, which would make it 3x4, half of that was going to be perfect for what I wanted. So on top of that, actually it didn't turn out to 6x4. Let me see. It turned out to 6x4, not 3x4. Sorry. So then I ended up having this, because I only did half, so it was 4 and then 6 of the side that I didn't cut off. And so I used that in the background there. I used some torn paper and some of the coordinating alphas from that month that I had. And I put March 2024. I used the alpha. That kit came with an alpha for that month, and I love this alpha. You'll see that I use this in all, if not most of my pages. And I also use this with some other projects in the month of March because I'm loving that alpha and the font. I use that to write the word tempted. On the side here, I'm actually using, they sent this green lime. I just love the pop of color along with the kit. And so I used that with some red string that I had already. I had some red string already in my sewing machine because I was sewing up some stuff for December daily. So I just went ahead and used the red because I thought it would add a nice pop. So as we are opening up here, I have pattern paper on both sides. This pattern paper already had this beautiful fountain and the swan. This was one of them that I couldn't like cut in half because then it would put it in the wrong orientation. But I loved it so much that I decided that I wanted to cut out this 4x6. I also have some die cuts here at the top. From the thank you card, I cut out the verse of Matthew 6:13, which talks about the word lead. And then on this side, I have pattern paper in the background. I have one of those mini library cards that came with the kit, and I kind of put a quote from David Guzik on being enticed by your desires. Sorry, I had like a tongue twister there. Down here, I have the verse that is in James 1:14, but each person is tempted when he is lured and enticed by his own desire. And then here I have this beautiful die cut that has the hummingbird and these flowers. And I don't know if you can see that here on camera, but what I did was I used something to go ahead and add some gloss to this. And so I made little droplets on the flowers as well. And I absolutely love how that turned out. Of course, you have to let that dry because if you touch it right away, then you'll mess that up. Okay, so on my next page, I am actually documented day number 1. So you see this 1 over here, and that's from the numbers that comes with the kit on white sticker paper. And so over on the left-hand side, I have a pocket. They introduced these new pockets in that month, which everyone ended up loving. I have a pocket. I have a hummingbird die cut with some orange hibiscus flowers, which I love. You guys know I love orange. I also have 2 layered labels here where I wrote tempted because that was the name of day number 1. I have a little cross and I use a rose gold cross to kind of match my rings that I added here. I have a little rose gold washi strip layered on the double labels. I like doing the double labels sometimes because it adds like a layered look. Tucked in here, I have a quote from Tom that was from the devotional from day 1. And on the back here, you can see I just stapled it and then added a little washi. And this is actually part of the texture that was actually given to us in that month's kit, because you know that Lori always sends some type of texture along with our die cuts. And so I used it to create a little tab on this journaling card that I have tucked in here with that verse. Over on the right hand side, I have one of the postage stamp stickers that I added here with 1 Corinthians 2, chapter 2, verse 14. And then I have that written out here on this notes card. On the back of these journaling cards, we have like a little notes section. So what I did was I cut this out, and then I inked up the sides and I added it here. And I used that as kind of a journaling spot. I have a big die cut across the bottom here, which I love. And I know it goes over on both sides, but I love just seeing a little bit of the things just hang over the sides. Since it's a mini book, it doesn't really make that big, that much bulk. And I added lots of dimension with the foam dots. Again, it's a mini book, so I knew I wasn't going to have too many pages, so I was able to go crazy with that. I have a hummingbird kind of flying off the sides here, and that was day 1 in Tempted. Okay, so this is day 4, and here we're talking about mixing truth and lies. So I don't have this is day 4, and I have the flesh. And I don't have the actual title in this beautiful alpha, but what I did is I put that down here. And then with this alpha, I put my biggest takeaway from that day, which was the serpent mixing truth with lies. And you see mixing truth and lies. Kind of put that across the page. I used 2 different papers here. On this side, I have a verse card about the verse that I was actually meditating on, which was Genesis 3:4. I have this beautiful die cut here with the mason jar. I have a label where I have the day's title here, and I labeled some washi that has a little bit of music notes. Over on the right hand side, I have one of those mini file folders, and I actually cut this one a little bit down. And I have tucked in here another one of those journaling cards, and that, again, using up that texture that came with the kit as a tab so I can write out the verses that I was going to, actually, I did not write out the verses, I'm sorry. This was my takeaway from the verses 1 through 6 that I read about the serpent and about how he was giving seeds of doubt, or placing seeds of doubt in the lives of Adam and Eve. And then down here I have a coordinating verse, which is John 8:44. I have popped up a die cut of some flowers, and I love the blues and purples and how they mix here. I tried to do a theme of colors for each spread, so it's not the same. There were so many beautiful colors in this one that I really wanted to kind of highlight those colors, but I knew I couldn't put them all in one because it would be too many colors. So I kind of stuck to some color families and kind of used that in each spread. So that was day 4. Day 10 absolutely has to be my favorite. I love this. So what I did is, you'll see a lot of torn paper, and let me bring it up close so you can kind of see that texture. So I used a blue paper across here, and I tore it up just to give some texture in the background, and I wanted to create a little scene. So I also used some green paper, and I tore that up and added along the bottom. And then I have this little bench with the wildflowers, and I added Psalms 91, 9 through 14. All of these verses are written out here. And then I have some of the fabric that was given in the kit. I had that sewn here, so I put that through my sewing machine. Over here, I have 10 with the numbers from the kit. And then I have this beautiful tree with the birds. And I absolutely love, there was so much color both in the wildflowers from the die cut and also the tree, that I thought that I wanted to make the background very, very plain, perfect for me to do my scripture writing in there. And then I gave it my own title, which is called God's Way. So I absolutely love how this one turned out. Okay, now moving on to day 9. Now day 9, I recorded pretty simply. As I was doing my study, I got this verse from Charles Spurgeon, and I love Charles Spurgeon. And so what I did was I wrote it out on this die cut, this library card. I added a die cut. There's a mini label back there, some washi. The other half of the mini label is actually up here, where I did some stamping with the little mini stamp that came with the freebie. I have the 9 that came with the numbers. I have some string that I tucked behind there as well. And on this side, because I had this little mason jar, I wanted to kind of do something that coordinated. And I love this paper so much, I didn't want to cover it with anything. And I think it just coordinates beautifully. So this is day 9 with a beautiful quote from Charles Spurgeon that speaks about temptation and sums up day 9 beautifully. And then my last day that I have recorded here is day 14. This one is close to my favorite. I really, really love 10. This is a close favorite as well. So you'll notice that over on the left-hand side, I do have a pattern paper like I did with all my other ones. But on the right-hand side, I have an envelope. So we'll go over that in a minute. On the left-hand side, I have one of those beautiful journaling cards that has a little bridge and that arch. And so I have the same arch over here that came on the die cut. And then here I have 14. This is actually a rub-on. And I got a set of rub-ons from the Dollar Tree that had these really fun antique numbers with different fonts. So what I did was I used a rub-on to add 14 here to signify day 14. I had this fabric scrap that was sent to me by my friend Angela. She is Mom's Journals, and I'll put her below. And I love her journals. And she had sent me a bunch of fabric scraps and ribbons and things that she had put together for me. So I put this along the top. Over on this side, I have an envelope. This is just a brown envelope that I had in my stash, and I went ahead and punched some holes in it. And in the background here, I do have a stencil. I use the stencil from this month in the background with some white ink from Creative Retreat, which worked beautifully because it shows up really, really well. I actually love this white ink from Creative Retreat. I have the die cut here that matches the arch over on the left-hand side. And then here, I just used some ribbon in my stash to kind of create a little tab, just to remind people that you can open it. And then when you open this up, you have just some beautiful layers. This is actually the lace that came with the kit from February, and I still had this in my stash, so I cut half of it and I added it here. Absolutely love that. This was from On the Brink. That was the texture that came with that kit. Then I added some washi on the background. I have some more of this paper just to bring some more of that green over. And then again, I used one of these scene journaling cards on the back to add some journaling, some scripture journaling with Romans chapter 5 verses 18 through 19. And then I wrote really big with the alphas that came with the kit, Christ, because that was the main topic of day 14. Absolutely loved it. And then I love how fun this is. You could have even kept this open. I actually glued this down to here and tucked some more in here, but I wanted to keep it simple, and I had already done my scripture writing, which is what I wanted for day 14. So I went ahead and closed it, but I still think it adds a really fun element to the end of my project. So that is it. That is the wrap up of of all the days that I actually journaled in my mini album for Tempted. This was a beautiful devotional. Again, if it is still available, I am going to link it below, but I know that the kits have been selling out each month lately. And also let me know below if you want that comparison, a look at all the different ring journals that I have done for my By the Well for God projects. I appreciate you coming to watch this video. If you are new here, hit the like button and notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. And thank you so much for joining me each and every video, darlings. God bless. Bye.